The following animation gives a clear idea of MOVE's concept of the efficient use of surgical space. The surgical primary provider, dressed in blue, enters the surgical area where the assistant secondary provider has prepared a client who is to undergo the circumcision procedure. Once the surgical provider has completed the procedures for which he is responsible, i.e. removing the foreskin and placing the mattress sutures, he hands the client over to a roaming assistant provider who completes the procedure. Usually this involves the final suturing. The surgical provider moves to a central hand sanitization point where he uses antiseptic hand rubs to clean hands before moving to the second cubicle where a new client has been prepared. He then enters cubicle 2. The process described repeats itself. We can see the surgical provider completing his tasks, handing over to an assistant to complete the procedure and moving to hand sanitization before the next client. The assistant provider, who is permanently stationed in the cubicle, dresses the wound once the procedure is complete. He also administers local anesthesia and prepares the next client. After finishing in the 4th cubicle, the surgical provider returns to cubicle 1, where a new client has been prepared and the local anesthesia has been administered. The roaming assistant provider follows the surgical provider, and the whole process repeats itself. In many high-volume setups, a second surgical provider and team of support personnel could operate in 4 cubicles on the opposite side. This would then be an 8-bed setup with 2 teams in place.